is another question. In any case, Trump goes on, the crooked judge who has already been overturned 4 times on this case, a record, fully understands this. He gave us a demand which he knows is impossible to do. Impossible? Really?
This guy is worth a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars. He happens to have a lot of cash.
Of course, he has money. You know, he's a billionaire. We know that. There will be a bond and there will be no issues with that.
In fact, there are issues by her client's own admission. More on this now from CNN's chief domestic correspondent, Phil Mattingly, who was with us now. And Phil, the clock is ticking. Like, what are the options here to come up with $464 million by Monday?
What's so fascinating about this moment is for a candidate who has so deftly navigated but also leveraged this unprecedented convergence of the legal and the political for the better part of a year, steamrolling his way to the Republican nomination, this week has laid bare just how dramatic that strategy could be derailed in just a matter of days. And I think the reality right now, when you talk to people around Trump, is he actually does have cash. He actually does have assets that amount to making him a billionaire. When you look at his financial disclosure, I went through the most recent one at length over the course of the last couple of days. The problem is it's not enough cash, and many of those assets are real estate, which the bonding companies won't actually pursue. And that has left them dwindling options, including one that he just absolutely will not take.
They're trying to take us out.
Donald Trump is insistent that he won't consider one option in the intense scramble to head off potential seizure of his prized properties: bankruptcy. No chance, one advisor said of the idea. He'd rather have Letitia James show up and try and seize his properties. It's a position relayed to advisors, sources say, that cuts across concerns about political optics and his own scarring personal experience with the process.
Mr. President!
It's also one that eliminates yet another pathway to delay payment of a judgment that would force him to come up with hundreds of millions of dollars in cash in just days. At the same moment, Trump's political fundraising vehicles report funneling additional millions towards his personal legal fees. The clock ticking to secure what Trump's lawyers say would be more than $500 million in cash, or cash equivalent, to secure a bond, or face possible seizure of those most valued properties.
Forcing him to sell prized properties such as Trump Tower, iconic properties like 40 Wall Street, to pursue his appeal is manifest injustice.
For Trump, it's a threat that cuts to his core, both politically and personally, one that, tied to his loss in the fraud case, carries no shortage of irony.
If you look at my cash now, with all of the money I waste on the legal fees and all of this stuff that we're all going through, I thank you very much. With all of that, I have over fairly substantially over $400 million in cash.
That was a point Trump also made more than a half dozen times in his January testimony in the fraud case. And it's true. A CNN review of Trump's most recent candidate financial disclosure form, where candidates list assets and liabilities in ranges, pegged Trump's available cash between roughly $250 million and $1 billion. A source close to Trump's business operations said the actual number is roughly between $360 and $400 million, a significant sum for a developer. But as Trump's own lawyers made clear, not nearly enough to secure a bond with little precedent. A practical impossibility, they said. No fewer than 30 insurance firms turning down the task, each requiring cash as collateral, including one, Chubb, that underwrote a $91.63 million bond just 2 weeks ago in another Trump legal loss, E. Jean Carroll's defamation case. Trump and his team now scrambling with dwindling options to address a judgment a campaign spokesman called unjust, unconstitutional, un-American. There's his legal appeal to waive or reduce the bond, a flurry of rumors about whether Trump's billionaire political donors will pony up the cash, and also questions about whether they'd seek foreign assistance from countries like Saudi Arabia or Russia.
There's rules and regulations that are public. I can't speak about strategy that require certain things, and we have to follow those rules.
And sources say that steadfast refusal from Trump himself to consider personal or business bankruptcy, burned by his own experience with 6 bankruptcies decades ago.
I learned that it's certainly not something you want to go through again. I also learned about loyalty.
Indeed, Trump's team has, true to form, utilized the candidate's legal threat to boost its political war chest in text and email appeals, an effort to overcome Trump's political cash problems, with President Joe Biden holding a substantial cash advantage less than 8 months before Election Day.